Hey you guys, Coach Liz here. Today I want to share with you something that I was able to teach at our health coach training. We just got back from Cancun, Mexico, where we spent a few days really diving into more mindset training. And this topic has helped me so much as I've studied it and thought about it that I wanted to share it with you. This is called the Drama Triangle. Now, there is a line and below that line is when we fall into being closed-minded and we think that nothing can change, things are the way they are. Above the line is the empowerment triangle, where we have the power to create what we want. So I'm just going to share a few things that were really helpful to me as I've learned about this. So this slide, have you ever been called the drama queen? We are surrounded by drama. That's just how our brain works. Movies, books, our school, our political, families, relationship is all based on drama. And one thing that is good to remember is that this is something that we have been learning since we were little, right? There's always, think of the fairy tales that we've learned. There's always a victim that needs saving. There's a villain that is against them. And then there's a hero that comes to save them. But we never really hear about what happens after they get married. Like, when real life happens. So this is where the drama triangle comes in. So the victim, they come from the thoughts of, and maybe think about like what you have noticed about yourself, thoughts that you think or say. It's not fair. It's being done to me. I can't. The hero is the one that always wants to save everyone. I'm here to save the day. I'm enabling my victims. I'll do it for you. Poor you. The villain is the blamer. They like to know exactly who did it, why they did it, make sure that they are punished because of it, and that has changed. They like to blame themselves or others. Now, one thing that's important to remember in this drama triangle, this isn't just in regards to your relationships with other people. It's going on in your head. You can play this drama triangle with yourself. So one thing that was really eye-opening is to realize that you can hero yourself. You can play the victim to yourself, and then you can come in and hero yourself by buffering, like by eating or doing something to make you feel better. And then the villain part, you could say, oh, why do I always do that? I'm so stupid, and so that is how you kind of play that in your mind. And if you can be aware of that, that is where the power comes. And also in your relationships, there's always someone to blame. There's always someone who's at fault, or there's someone that's heroing someone else or being the victim. So when we can catch that and change that, that is really powerful. That's where the magic happens. And our brains are so amazing. They were made to protect us. 10,000 years ago, your brain, it was looking for a threat all the time. It was always in fight, flight, freeze, or play dead mode. And your amygdala does a good job at that. It's always looking for a threat. And today, we don't have those threats that we had 10,000 years ago. There's not saber-toothed tigers out to attack us. It's more our ego and our identity that is the threat to us. And it actually thinks the same thing as if it were being attacked. Like, it equals that you're going to die. And so it doesn't know the difference, but we know that we're not at physical risk so much. It's more that, our ego's at risk, but it's still doing its job. It's still doing a great job. And so a lot of leaders have a hard time telling the difference between a real physical threat or a threat to their identity or their image. But one thing to know is that it's normal to be below the line. Most of us are below the line most of the time in our thoughts, but where the power lies is when you have control over a difference between what you're thinking and the actions or the words that come out of your mouth. That's when consciousness is there. So that's where it's most powerful, is when you're conscious of what you're doing or what you're saying or what you're thinking, versus living in unconsciousness, not even realizing that you're below the line. So a lot of times we can run the bases and maybe think of a situation in your life that you've been in these areas. And one way to get out of that and shift is to actually say that conversation out loud, like really loud, really come in exaggerated, and let your brain hear that conversation going on. Or even like use your hand as a puppet and just like argue back and forth with it and let your brain hear that conversation that's going on, these roles that you're playing. So really quick, the victim, like we talked about, they're kind of feeling helpless. They need help. I don't have a choice. It's not fair. That's kind of things that they say. Um, or think. And then things that they do is they often they actually get sick often because they want someone to take care of them. Like subconsciously, it makes them get sick. They are often confused. They are trying hard but can't do it. They're feeling overwhelmed. They're worrying. They have a lot of anxiety. Those are their favorite ways to drift. When you're playing the victim, you like to help the victim, what they're seeking out. The reason we do this is we're seeking something. So people that play the victim is because they need security or help. They want someone to rescue them. They're feeling pain and suffering, or they're feeling overwhelmed. And so the villain, the next one, they are the ones, when you're on that base or playing that, you are blaming others. You're looking for who's wrong. They say, maybe I'm just being funny, or they're actually feeling ashamed of themselves a lot of time. The favorite way to drift of a villain is judging people, policing, interrupting conversations, lecturing, comparing. Those are often what they do. And usually the villain is seeking out something also. They want control. They need a place to place blame or people to criticize. They're seeking out enemies to conquer, or they're seeking out the way, which is what they think is the right way. And the hero, the third one, they are seeking temporary relief. They're seeking acceptance. They say, I can handle it. I can help you. Poor you. I can figure it out. I'll be there for you. And their favorite ways to drift are actually by buffering with food. So if you're feeling sad or lonely or stressed, your hero brain tells you to indulge in food to cover that up. It's heroing itself. Or giving food to other people to make them feel better, or organizing, or achieving, or approving, or overworking, or just trying to figure things out on their own, not wanting help. So what the hero is seeking out is they want appreciation. They want problems to fix. They want people to save. They want the pain to be fixed. So that's one thing about heroes. So I want you to think about some time in your life. Think of a situation that's going on right now. It can be big or little, some kind of scenario, maybe an argument that you had with your spouse or one of your kids, or something that's going on at work. But think of things that were said or done. So maybe the victim is, I just can't do it all. And so the hero's like, I'll help you. I can do it. And the villain is looking for, you always do this, blame. So think of a situation and run that through in your mind. And like I said, maybe even say it out loud. That really helps. And the good thing, though, is to know that just like below the line, there is an opposite to all things. So when we become conscious of what we're doing, we can turn that around. As a hero, we can become a coach. We can coach people to have power, because when you're heroing something, you're making someone be the victim. And so instead of helping them to be the victim, helping them to be coaching them to be able to be a creator. So the victim can turn into a creator and be able to accomplish those things on their own. The villain can become a challenger in a positive way. They can connect authentically with people instead of seeking out enemies. So once you become conscious, you can mentally and physically switch and above the line. Once you recognize that you're below the line, you can realize that and switch to become above the line. You can take responsibility instead of arguing. That's where the power lies. It's so amazing what you can create when you have that power, when you have that knowledge. And so the empowerment triangle, it's totally different, a totally different feeling. It says, I'm creating my new story. I'm in charge of what happens. I'm open and curious. Obstacles help me get better. My trials are there for a reason. I empower others to be successful, and I help others to get better. That is the empowerment triangle. I love that. So if there's something in your life going on that you want to change, think about, where am I? Am I below the line in this situation? Can I accept being where I am? Sometimes it's okay. You don't have to get above the line in every situation. Sometimes being below the line is serving you in a certain situation. I always think, for me, it is that I let my husband fix things when they're broken. I actually consciously think I could figure this out, or I could try. And I say, no, he'll do it. He's better. I can't do this. that's, but what I'm seeking is security. Knowing someone will take care of it for me, and that makes me feel good. And so maybe that's not something that I want to change right now, and that's okay. So it's more of those things that kind of bother you. Maybe a relationship, there's a lot of tension and you want to work on changing that, or even conversations that's going on in your brain. And so ask yourself, am I willing to shift? Am I willing to make a change? Am I committed to make a change? And then number 4 is, how will I shift? That there's some big shift moves. One of them is saying it out loud, like we talked about, whether with a hand puppet or just like saying it to someone and explaining the whole situation and not asking for feedback or for them to fix it, but for you just to hear it. That is huge. Or even just like some deep breaths and shifting your thoughts, making a noise, moving your body, sometimes just getting up and moving your body, getting out and going for a walk or something, just doing something different, changing your environment can help you shift. Writing things down, that can help you shift. So shift is making a movement that will help you move from below the line to above the line. So that hopefully gives you a few tools, helps you at least understand a little bit about the drama triangle and what it looks like to be below the line and above the line. And I have a challenge for you. Besides reading element 4, because Dr. A can explain it way better than me, check it out. I want you to start being aware of conversations and ask yourself, don't tell someone else that they're below the line, but think to yourself, they're playing the villain. Isn't that interesting? They're playing the victim, or they're playing the hero. Maybe they need acceptance. So being aware of things that are going on in your own brain, but also conversations that you're having with others, or just observing others' observations and pinpointing where they are below the line or above the line. But remember, don't call them out on it. It's not your job to fix them. You have the power to fix you. So once you are conscious of this, you have the power to make the decision to stay below the line or to shift and move above the line, to just end an argument or a conversation that's not going well with something that will just shift above the line. You're probably right. Thanks for pointing that out. Or I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'll try to do better next time. Sometimes just something like that can make it shift. So this isn't all about weight loss. It's about what's going on in your mind, making sure that you are conscious of those thoughts and you have the tools to make those shifts and create what you want. So I know this was kind of long, but I think that is very empowering to be aware and to be conscious of that. So thank you for letting me share those quick little tips, and I hope you have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Bye.